And you think you have to do it all because everyone else is doing it all.
Absolutely.
And so it really helps you to focus on a plan.
It's the Channel Mom Show with Jenny Dean Schmidt. We're here for you.
Every kid is unique, and every mom wants to capture that uniqueness on film. Bring your family's memories to life, supersized and gorgeous. Just click Turpin Portrait Gallery's ad to the right of this video to get your summertime promotion for kids and families.
Welcome back to the Channel Mom Show, where we are here for you, Mom. You know, you can also check us out on ChannelMom.com, where we videotape the show and then we put it up there so you can see past shows. We had a very powerful show last week with Dr. Emerson Eggerich, who did some marriage counseling on there for a mom who was in a marriage crisis.
Praying for that mom.
Yeah. Right now, I'm very excited because I was reading the inside cover of this book. It's like it can change your life as a parent, what we're about to talk about now. I mean, it's talking about, do you need a 5-star general in your home? Do you need a referee in your house? I mean, I think a lot of moms, if they're being honest, millions of moms across the country feel like, especially during summer, like things are just a little bit out of control. Like, where's the structure? Where's the order? Where's our family vision? What is it that we want to do before the kids leave the home? What kind of values do we want to instill them with? What kind of a path do we want to send them on? We have Tricia Goyer in the house. She's a best-selling author of more than 30 novels, 9 nonfiction, and more than 300 articles for national publications. She's been declared Writer of the Year. She's a very good writer. My daughter really enjoys her book. She particularly enjoyed The Memory Jar, just so you know. Georgia Grace really enjoys her. Welcome to the Channel Mom Show, Tricia Goyer.
Thank you so much. It's great being here. I'm glad your daughter likes my novels.
She does.
It's always fun.
She has one right by her bedside, actually. Hey, you are the author, and I'm going to also mention one of your co-authors because people are going to recognize him, but you're the author of a new book called Lead Your Family Like Jesus. And I think that the principles that you have in this book can resonate with anybody, whether they're somebody who follows Jesus or somebody who does not, Christian or non-Christian. There's some great principles in this book. You wrote this book with the author of The 1 Minute Manager, which was a New York Times bestseller, and a lot of business people have turned to it, as I understand it. Ken Blanchard. And so the two of you have really set out to make this almost sort of a businessy book. Like, this is how you proceed step by step in order to start running your house in a way that's going to be effective and is going to change some things and is going to remove some frustrations and just make things all around better. So tell me, just to start off, why this book? And what do you think that you can remedy for moms out there who are frustrated?
The amazing thing is, I remember, 15 years ago when my older set were little, I would read Ken Blanchard's business books, and I would apply it to my kids. The 1 Minute Manager talks about the 1 minute praise and the 1 minute reprimand, and all these things I would apply it. And then I had this opportunity to write it with him, and really, he became a Christian later in life, and so he was already doing the business books before he became a Christian, and he realized the Bible has the principles that I've been teaching. He didn't even realize it at the time.
Yeah.
And then when we look at it, he's been teaching this in the business world, and then I come along and go, you know what? These principles work in the home with little kids, with busy moms. I'm a mom of 6.
Yeah.
We have 3 older ones and 3 little ones, and the same principles we use about leadership and servant leadership and giving your kids a mission statement, knowing what values to put into their heart. All those things they do in business, we can do with our kids too. And once everyone has a vision of where they're going and what we're about and who we're serving, it just makes your whole life and your decisions easier.
Absolutely. And I want to be really real here because I want this to resonate with everybody, not just people who regularly read the Bible and follow Christ, but people that could get something out of this, just like Ken Blanchard did. He realized even before he was a Christian, he was following these principles, and it made his life better as a businessman. But I want to speak to moms out there today on 2 notes. One is, I think so many of us are not intentional anymore. We just have babies and oops, they grow up and now we're done. And we don't think, okay, we need to have a plan about how we want them to go into the world and what we want them to help them have as a vision and a belief system. Now, we can't enforce that fully. One day they have to claim it for themselves. It can't be our belief system, number one. But number 2, I think there are so many moms that think, okay, I'm already overwhelmed with cleaning the house and maybe trying to balance a job outside of the home and just doing the laundry and keeping my husband happy or not keeping my husband happy because I'm a single mom and they're even more overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How do I now sit down and make a plan? I mean, there's just no extra time. What can you say to say, no, this is actually going to make your life easier if you can just start to follow these principles in the book step by step?
Absolutely. Well, it makes your life easier because you know what to focus on. I think so many times there are so many things we focus on. I remember being that young mom with 3 little kids, and, my neighbor has their son sign up for soccer, and my other friend has her daughter sign up for ballet, and you think you have to do it all because everyone else is doing it all.
Absolutely.
And so it really helps you to focus on a plan. So John and I sat down one time, and you could do it if you're a single mom, you could do it by yourself, and we said, okay, our kids are going to be grown, and like in 10 years, they're going to be out of the house. What things we want to make sure we focus on during this time? And we picked 3 things. We picked family dinners. We wanted to make sure that the majority of the evenings we were around the table eating dinner as a family, just to have that face-to-face time, the conversation. We focused on reading at bedtime. So for years, my husband would get a novel, and we read through the Chronicles of Narnia, all these great books, The Hobbit, and the kids, even up into their teen years, would listen to Dad tell these, read a chapter from these books. And then we focused on service. We wanted them in the community doing something to help other people. And because we had those as our focus, when other things came up, like that required an evening commitment, we said, you know what, we can only do 1 evening commitment a week. We can't do all this soccer practice. We have 3 kids. We can't be running all these places because we had our priorities in order. So once you know what your priorities are, then it's easy to say no to the good things because you're focusing on the best things.
Yeah.
And I think that'll just help you, because they will be gone. My oldest son is married. He's a father of 1. They have another one on the way. And they're out of the house. They're doing their own thing. I don't have as much influence on their lives anymore. But you know what? They're having family dinners. And he's already, his little boy is 2, and he's already reading to him. And I see them, reaching out to other people and serving. And so what do we want our kids to do, and what do we want to pass on to the next generations?
Yeah, and good for you, Tricia. You probably didn't hear the top of the show, but I was lamenting the fact that my son went away for a week, and I was thinking, there's no way I could ever let him go away to college and so on and grow up. But that's happened to your son. But the beautiful thing about it is that you've now seen how you've contributed a good-hearted servant man, a man who wants to serve his kids and serve the world into the world. And if you hadn't let him go, that wouldn't have happened. But, I want to say that when you're talking about this, you're really talking about only sitting down for an hour or 2 and laying out 3 or 4 things that you want to focus on as a family. I mean, doesn't that sound like you could do that, Shelley?
It does. Well, I wanted to know, how do those 3 things that you guys focused on fit into your mission statement?
Well, there's a great activity that you do with kids, and I think this is another activity, but you bring your kids involved in figuring out your mission statement.
Yeah.
It's just call it a label. Like, what are we labeled as? The mission statement seems so big for kids. So, one thing to do is get a big piece of poster board and, go into our cupboards or refrigerator and say, how are other things labeled? Ketchup is, organic or fresh or all these different things, and see, okay, these are how these are labeled. Now, how do we label our family? What would we label? And just pick 2 or 3 things, maybe 3 or 4, and say, this is our family. So our family was a family of service, a family of hospitality. We like to have a lot of people over. And the other one was transparency, I think. We just opened our hearts to other people. And so those are big words. We did those when they were teenagers. But when they're little, we could say, we're a family who loves other people. And we could write love on the poster board. And just the mission statement doesn't have to be like, we are going to change the world for the betterment of man. These huge things.
Yeah.
We're going to be a family that loves other people, that treats everyone the same, and that gives to others. I mean, those 3 things could be your family mission statement. And then you could tie in to, okay, what does loving look like? Loving means around the table, we love each other, and then we talk about how we could love others. Or, you could tie those activities into what you really want to focus on as a family, and don't overwhelm them with all these great things. Just focus on a few things.
Right. Few is always better. I'm learning that. I mean, I make summer lists about all the things we're going to do for the world and all the vacations and all of the charitable, activities we're going to be involved in and all the house projects. I make a list of 48 things.
Yeah.
And I need to learn to scale back. And that's good advice. By the way, are those little ones in the background I'm hearing?
Yes, absolutely. They're in the other room, but yeah, you could hear them.
Tell me the ages. Tell me the ages of all your kids.
Okay, so we have 3 older ones that are 23, 21, she just had a birthday, I had to think about it, and 19.
Uh-huh.
And then we adopted 3 little ones, so they're 5, 3, and 2 are the 3 little ones we've adopted.
Oh, God bless you, Tricia. Seriously. Yes. I mean, that's awesome. That is awesome.
So we're really starting over again. So, the older ones, they turned out pretty okay. So
yeah.
I guess we could try this again.
Exactly. You talk about 12 powerful parenting principles. Can you just touch on one of those here before we go to the break?
Okay, one of them is just knowing that we have a limited time only. And I mentioned this a little bit before, but there's a limited time. Today is the day. I mean, today, I always say, tomorrow I'll have the house organized, and then I can do something fun, or tomorrow I'll be doing this. Today is the day, and, think about if your kids, if all their childhood memories were wrapped up in today, what would they remember? And it's kind of overwhelming, but for years I was the frantic mom. I was the mom that was yelling at them and telling them to get their shoes on and telling them to get into the car. And I realized that, okay, is this how I want to be remembered? For them, their growing up years is just this frantic mom trying to get everything done, or do I just let things slide and not get up the library books in? Maybe they'll be a day late, or maybe the laundry will be piled up, but I have joy in my heart. And so just realizing that today is the day for that. Literally,
you say, I am choosing this thing that we have as a goal today instead of being stressed out about these other 12 things. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. And just saying, those things will happen tomorrow. We'll get to that tomorrow, but today I'm going to enjoy my kids. I'm going to spend time with them. And then if you do that every day, you have that time with them. You have that good relationship. You have those good memories. And then they won't look back and say, okay, I just had this frantic, crazy mom in my growing up years. But really, I had a mom that helped me, because kids are in the moment.
Yeah.
They're not thinking about yesterday. They're not thinking about tomorrow. They live in the moment. So really just stepping out and enjoying the moment with them.
You talk about being a servant leader, and we're going to talk about that more coming up. Can you just give us a 30-second glimpse into what a parent is when they're being a servant leader?
Right. A servant leader is someone who doesn't lead out of selfishness, but selflessness. So selfishness, I might say, I want to look like a good mom, so my kids are going to dress a certain way, they're going to be in certain activities. That's selfish. That's wanting my kids to behave in a way that will reflect good upon me. And really, instead, it's selflessness, when we're thinking about what's the best for my kids, what's the best for them, and how can we raise them to serve God. And that's really being a selfless leader.
Absolutely. We're going to give people maybe a little bit of the 5 habits you suggest in the book. I really don't want to cover everything, because I want people to go out and get the book, because I think it could be a life-changing book for some families. I really do. So Tricia Goyer, you're going to join us in the next segment, yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So stay tuned for that. She's going to give us some habits, and they're simple. You can just enforce one at a time. Stay tuned for more with Tricia Goyer and learning to lead your family like Jesus.